Hello racers, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is Mini B On-Road Season 3 Episode 2. And in today's video we are going to install some new parts to improve the performance of my Mini B, which began its life as an RTR, but as you can see we've been growing it and making some changes. And we make a change and we take it to the track and we see how it works and we make our improvements from there. So in episode 1 you saw that we had 2 races, both qualified third. So at this point we are encouraged that the car is getting better. But in the first race, a disappointing 4th, and the second race an even more disappointing 5th. So we got to improve our standings. So it sounds like qualifying is coming up. Consistently third on the qualifying. We're trying to get this little Mini B on the podium. Let's just recap the changes to date. So we have an aluminum bulkhead on the front. Give it a little bit of weight, and that's a durability part. That piece will break on your car. You can see that I have the brass front weight. A little bit more weight on the front. I did put the Lowe's drag car front shocks on because the little bodies were a little bit shorter. Shocks are mounted all the way out and they have 40 weight shock oil. On the links, both raised about 1 millimeter. You can see the little shim on both sides, and that's to help with a traction roll, as we know. On the front of the car, we're trying the Hackfab Swerves. This is in a soft, and I'm going to try some mediums and see if that... I found the softs were just a little bit grippy. See that we got a new little Hackfab servo in there with a hot racing servo saver, so that has really helped the front end. I'm trying out this new little 18 amp Hobbywing speed control with a 5200 kV motor. Just to tame the power. It's fast enough, but I want to get the handling down, and then we'll ramp up the power back to that Furatech Kraken motor. I much prefer the brushless sensored motor. In the rear, you can see I've moved the wing forward to help it rotate in the corners. I've moved the shocks all the way out on the arm and all the way up on the tower to give it a bit of stability coming out of the corners, so it won't compress as much. In the rear you can see that I've been working with the Mini B, I think it's the barcodes. They come stock with the Mini B RTR, and you can see how they're wearing. Pretty flush. Maybe it's cambered in just slightly. It's about a degree of camber in the rear. You can see that I have no shims on this end, but we do have 2 shims out in the hub to give it a little higher roll center. Just off the track you can see it's covered in fuzz, and it has the MIP ball diff in the rear because I wanted a little bit different diff action. You can see that it's quite smooth. So at the end of last race, what we noticed is that it still has a little bit of a push and the handling is a little inconsistent. So I've been going over the car, and I think some of the inconsistency is with the arms. You can see that these arms, the stock arms, can actually twist quite a bit. See, you can see me actually twisting it. You can actually get about a quarter turn out of that. Just flex of the arm, front and rear. And that flex in the arm is not only changing the caster, but you can see it changes the steering. You can see the tire turning. So to give it a bit more durability and stiffness, I'm going to go with the RPM arms. I never in my life dreamed I'd be putting RPM for performance reasons. RPM is known for its lifetime guarantee on its plastics. They've designed a formula of nylon that's pretty much unbreakable, but it is thicker than the stock Mini B arm. You can see the flex in it. I can just grab it and twist it. That's just twisting. So I'm quite sure that this is twisting and turning in the corners, making it inconsistent to drive. We're going to replace RPM arms front and rear. Okay, so that's a change we're going to make in this race. Second change. I have been complaining that the front springs are just a little bit too soft for the track and the setup that I'm going with. So what I ordered was a Hackfab Losi Mini B wide carbon front tower. Let's take it out of the package and take a look at it. Now, here we are. Now the reason I got this, I don't know if you can see it. Just put something behind it, maybe it'll help you see it. But there are 4 holes in the tower. No, you can't see it hardly at all. There's 4 holes in the tower. The 2 standard holes, there you can see that a little better. The 2 standard holes in the middle, and then 1 lower hole for a little bit softer, and 1 upper hole for a little bit stiffer. So I'm going to try this out. What I'm going to do is sand the sharp edge off, use CA glue to seal the carbon fiber all the way around, and install it on the Mini B. And I'm going to try it in the most upward position to see if that gives it a little bit more support in the front. Just found that it was diving a bit too much, and that should help that. So that'll replace that. Pretty much a stock fit except for 2 extra holes for tuning purposes. So that's a nice little tuning part. Hackfab Mini B wide front tower. Okay, next thing. So you can see that I'm using the Hackfab fronts, but I've gone with the Mini B rears. I found that the Mini B rears still had a bit more grip, and I was using Hackfab rear tires in soft compound, but I've got some new Hackfab tires, Haymaker mini oval tires, super soft. So what I'm hoping is that a combination of soft fronts of the Hackfab Swerves and these super soft rears will be the combination that works. It's very close. Hopefully this gives us that side bite that I'm looking for, plus the forward grip. Because the reason I keep getting new tires is, look at these Mini B tires. Once they wear down, look how soft they get. Like, you can pinch an inch on these things. They're completely soft. And once you get to this ghost pin or ghost bar, you only get a few more runs out of them, and then they're wore out. So I've been looking for tires. I think the Hackfab ones might be the ones for me. We're going to install these Hackfab super soft tires. Now, as you can see, they don't come mounted. So I'm going to use up my remaining 2 Losi rims and mount those up. And for extra tuning, I got some Hackfab fronts in medium. So these are a little harder than what's on the car. So what I'll try is some medium fronts with the soft rears that I do have, or these soft fronts with soft rears, or soft fronts with the super soft rears. So I'll be able to do a lot of tire tuning this week. I'll have 4 sets of tires, and I'll be able to do different combinations. So that is what we're going to try. So with that said, let me go glue up some tires, install the parts. Maybe we'll do a quick little recap, and then we'll hit the track. We'll see you there. Racers, just packing up to go to race day. Just thought I'd share with you progress to date. Put the car on the scales. You can see that I pretty well got it balanced. Spent a lot of time in the build to get this ready for race and perfection. What I did, you can see in front, we have the shock tower, Hackfab shock tower, mounted all the way out. RPM arms. Now, I took the shocks apart, replaced the oil. I found the 40 weight was a little thick, so I went to 35 weight front and rear. You can see when we push the car down, it raises front and back at about the same time. The front is still a little slower than the rear, so I might have to thin out the front oil again a little bit more. We had 40, we went to 35. See the shocks mounted all the way out. Hackfab, I put the softs in the front and the super softs in the rear. They turned out great, and replaced the rear shock oil with 35 weight, so 35 all the way around. And then I spent a lot of time in the front to adjust the toe. So I think I have 1 millimeter wider in the front than in the back, so just barely any toe. So before, I think I had a tie rod pop off and it was all kind of messed up a little. This time spent a lot of time. So the car is balanced, the car has been aligned, got the shock tower, all the oils have been replaced. Let's see how this performs on the track, hoping put this car on the podium. And here we are back in the A-Main final. My car is in the top right, second positions. I had a great qualifying session today. I'm using the Hackfab Swerve front tires in medium compound and the Haymaker super soft rear compound, and that's a very balanced car. And let's see the start of this race. So now the bottom right, see that the orange car, white wing, is the leader, and the yellow car, that's mine, in second, followed closely by there's a red and white car right behind me. So you can see that the car is going quite well through the infield, but you'll notice in the infield a little bit of a push. I'll bring it up as I mention it, but so far my thought at the start of this race is just to hang with the leader. And you can see that the two of us are pulling away, left the field behind. They seem to have an incident or something, and we were able to kind of get away from the pack, and that's exactly what you want to do. Work with the other car when you can. Now, in the center of the track, collision. My car is now in the loop. So what started off as a second place start, I'm now finding myself in third, following the green car, who's now in second place. So a little collision with the car. Marshall put the car down funny, and into the penalty box I go. So now in third place. After the incident, first place is checked out. I'm not even sure where he is on the track anymore. But I'm trying to gun down the second place driver in the green, who's right in front of me now. Picking my way through. Oh, collision again. Slowed me down just enough that now that white and red car is now passed. I'm now in fourth place. So within a couple of laps, went from second to fourth. And now gathering myself together, focusing on the car ahead, seeing what we can do to catch up. You can see in the middle of the track, center middle, there's a car being worked on. That's first place. So he has had a tie rod pop off and he's fallen behind. So now I find myself in third place, and I'm gaining on the third place car. Little bit of a collision. And if you notice the center of the track, there's someone being marshaled. That was second place. So within a lap, I find myself moving from fourth place up to first. So this has been quite an incredible race so far. You'll have to kind of go and rewatch the video as the action unfolded. But I find myself, after what seemed to be a flurry of activity, now first place. Let's just follow the car around and I'll explain the handling, keeping in mind that the second place car is the green one behind me. Okay, so here we are going through the infield. See, I kind of go slow through the infield, a little bit tentative. As I said, the Car feels a little bit wandery through the infield. Again, a little bit slow through, but every time I'm slow through, the green car in second place just gains ever so slightly. Once again, a little bit slow through the center. And you can see that he's really reeling me in at this point. Here we go. Oh, and he's right on the tail now. So you can see that the car in second, the green car, so in the bottom right, going through the infield. The white car there is slowing me down, a little bit of a tangle. Actually, the white car collided with the green and allowed me to get away. So you can see that just some lap traffic at the wrong time, or the right time for me, bought a straightaway lead from the second place car. So here I am going under the bridge, bottom left, chicane, onto the straight, down, bottom right, through the infield, still a little bit tentative through the infield, but the chicane, you can see the car was going very well. Hairpin through the infield. Oh, that was a good lap through there. Nice chicane, down the straight. You can see that the power of the Hobbywing 5200 is not too bad in today's race. I didn't do any adjustment to that. Just kind of cleaned up the lines. I noticed that at the start of that infield, I'd get a bit of a push and push wide. There's my car. I'll show you where it happens. Right in there. And that would cost me time and again, losing precious tenths. Car was crashed as a marshal walking around on the track, and I find the marshals are out there. It's quite distracting to keep focus. Again, big push going through the infield, green car catching, really pouring it on at the end of this race. There's only a minute remaining. Green car right on my tail, bottom right through the infield. White car slows me down a little. Green car passes. A little bit of a racing incident there. It was questionable. I think I was trying to avoid the barrier. Kind of ran into him, so I let him go through. But just as I do that, he traction rolls as he comes onto the straight. I kind of run into him. Now back to first place. We're on probably what could be the last 1 or 2 laps. Green car is bobbling, trying to catch up. He traction rolls under the bridge and pulled out a first place finish. Race is done now. Cars are on their cool down laps. So that was quite an exciting race. A lot of collisions, a lot of marshals out fixing cars. And that's how it worked. So if you like this type of thing, click like. If you see more races like this, click subscribe. And feel free to comment with any questions or maybe some tuning ideas to help get the push. Thanks. We'll see you again in the next video.